Hi, I'm Michelle Wright, and we're here in Tarentum, about 2 blocks from the river.
Michelle is a TV anchor who gets up at 2:30 in the morning to start her day. Right now, she's on camera, and we'll be joining her soon.
Spring, all the rain
TV
is
journalists
causing-
become unknowing parts of our family, appearing in our homes on the television during holidays. You think you know Michelle, however, she is also a beekeeper and producer of honey. So let's spend some time with this uncommon TV anchor and beekeeper. We all have a life that's unique, a story, a journey. I'm David Carmine. I'm a chef. But does that define me? What defines you? Come share a day with us and discover what fuels us along the way. When I say I spend 24 hours a day with someone, Michelle is definitely one of these people that the clock never stops for. I'm here at her event space and commercial kitchen where she processes her honey. I'm gonna go in and meet up with Michelle, and we're heading out to the hives. Let's go.
Welcome to Tarentum.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Thanks
nice
for
to
having
have
me.
you here. Yeah. Let me show you around. So this is our chapel,
Okay.
and this was built in 1889,
Wow.
and we've completely remodeled it.
So how do you go from being a media personality to owning a
I
reception
don't know.
facility and producing honey and raising
Little bit of
bees?
everything. Well, yeah, I wake up every morning at 2:30 in the morning to do the morning news, and I love it.
Yeah.
I still love it. After all these years, I've been doing it for over 30 years.
Wow.
It's great. But I became a beekeeper a few years ago and just loved it. And I needed a space to expand, and
Okay.
so I saw this was on the market, and I came and I just fell in love with it.
Right.
And it's so much more than just a commercial kitchen. You know, we can do a lot of things in here. We're going to have
Sure.
bee seminars in here,
Okay.
is one thing, but also weddings.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it's a very beautiful space.
The big thing is the pipe organ, though.
Yeah,
The
it's-
pipe organ works. It was put in 1904.
Okay.
And it's just so cool.
It is very cool. Can you play it?
I can't, but I'm hoping you can.
We can try.
Yeah, I don't know. I
We
need
can
to
make
take
some
lessons.
noise.
Yeah, okay. We can try it out. That's pretty good. What is that? You're making it
I'm
up?
just making things up.
I think you're hired.
Okay, so you make your honey downstairs.
Yeah, well, we extract it and we bottle it downstairs, and
Okay.
we're looking to expand to do other products too. I already do lotions and stuff.
Okay.
I needed a commercial kitchen though, so that's one of the main reasons that I got this place.
Okay, and then it just had the additional benefit of
Yeah,
of
people
the-
can use it for more than just that, but a lot of people want to rent out the kitchen too.
Sure.
And I'm not much of a cook,
Okay.
so I'm hoping that you can give me a few tips.
I might be able to help
I know
you with
how to.
that.
Yeah, I think you could. All right, let me show it to you
All right,
first though.
great.
This is where we keep the honey. We have light honey right
Right.
now and dark honey.
Okay.
And so there are two different varieties.
So how does one bee make light honey
Yeah.
and one bee make
Good
dark
question,
honey?
yeah. So the light honey usually comes in the spring.
Okay.
Early in the year, and it has lots of tree blooms in it, and it tastes different and it looks really light in color.
Okay.
The dark honey normally comes in the fall, and we have lots of what they call bamboo red, which is also from Japanese knotweed plants.
Okay.
People don't like it in their yards because it's invasive, but it makes delicious honey.
Right. Basically, the same bee could make both
Yeah.
honeys. It's just what they are collecting
You
in the
got
field.
it. That's exactly right. We do taste testings, you know, out of the tanks a lot, but there's really nothing like sticking your finger actually in a hive with all the bees and tasting it.
That sounds intimidating.
It's really intimidating. You have to do it though. You've never done it before.
No, I want to. I have to, you know, I have a little fear of it because there's a lot of bees, but I definitely want to try that.
It'll give you a whole new appreciation.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it up and we'll meet my honey partner,
Okay.
Jim Fitzroy. He's there waiting for us.
All right, let's go.
All right.
So what we're currently doing right now is doing a hive check. Now Michelle told me that Jim and herself come out once a week, make sure that the eggs are being laid by the queen and making sure the health of the hive is there. If they do not find that the queen is laying the eggs, then they have to take action to make sure that the hives are healthy. So the honey is produced as their food source.
There's a lot of, and I grew up with bees, so it's actually what they put away, and they store it for the winter so they can go through a winter. They bring nectar in, it's real wet, and then they reduce it down. Once the moisture content gets below 18%, then they cap it over with beeswax.
Are the bees okay with this situation? Is this something that makes them uncomfortable?
Yeah, they live with it. Bees deal with a lot. If they don't like it, they're free to leave. I mean, you know, there's nothing. People say, well, you force the bees do this, you force the bees. I don't force the bees do anything. They're happy. I've supplied them with a home.
How do you feel around all these bees?
I mean, it takes a little of an adjustment. I can't lie. You know,
Even with the suit on.
Yeah, I want to be the macho man, be like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm good. But it's a little intimidating.
It is.
It is.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's amazing. And I just became fascinated. There's some quality about it. I have a really hectic life, really intense job, and being here listening to that buzz, it does something. It just calms you down.
See, it's not calming me. It's making me a little. It's making me a
If you
little.
were here for a little bit longer, I think you'd get used to the suit. And
Now you can, I don't know if you can see, but see that empty section where there's no bees?
Yes.
That's full of eggs.
So the queen lays all the eggs. That's what she does.
She can lay up to 2,000 eggs a day. That's her only job.
Currently, right now, at the beginning of spring, there are 30,000 bees in this one hive alone, and that may seem like a lot, but by summer, that's going to be 60,000 bees. How long have you been doing this?
5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I was assigned to do a story on colony collapse disorder,
Right.
which is a really serious thing. It is getting slightly better, but it's a mystery. And a Pennsylvania beekeeper discovered it, and so we in Pittsburgh wanted to follow the story.
Okay.
It impacted us because it was discovered in Pennsylvania, but mainly it impacts the whole world because we rely on honeybees to pollinate everything that we eat just about.
Right.
Now I may not have the figures 100% accurate, but it's probably at least 10 times the value of the honey for pollination. All your squashes, your melons, your fruits, most of your fruits, your almonds, almonds would almost be non-existent without honeybees.
So I became fascinated, and I talked to Jim for my story, and then I had to do another story, and I followed it along, and finally, about a year later, I called him and I said, if I bought a hive box, would you help me? And he said, sure. And so I had one hive box,
Okay.
and I was thrilled. Just learning about just the intricacies of what goes on inside the hive is amazing. And Jim knows so much about bees, and we've had a lot of success with the hives. My one hive turned into 2 hives, and then people wanted to buy the honey, and I gave it away as gifts, and then we started selling it to restaurants, and we just kept getting more hives and managing them, and now we have hives all over the place, and we sell it online in several grocery stores, specialty shops, wholesalers, and it's great because local honey makes a big difference.
There is actually a health benefit to eating local honey as compared to like just honey from any place.
Right, you want to eat what the bees are eating on here because a lot of people with seasonal allergies, you know, it makes a big difference.
Sure.
Now you can see this is wet nectar. It's real shiny and it's not capped over. So that's still nectar. And if you shake it,
You make the bees mad, Jim.
no.
Okay.
No, if you shake it, you can actually, it'll run out. So summertime, bees only live up to maybe 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And they work, the last 2 weeks is when they become field bees going out. And they just work themselves to death.
What is the makeup of the hive?
Most of the hive are female bees,
Okay.
and the females do everything. They're worker bees. They get the pollen and the nectar, and they make the honey, and they clean the hive, and they guard the hive. Women can sting. The male bees can't even sting.
Yeah.
Isn't it sad?
No,
They don't do anything. The boy bees just kind of have it easy.
You got it wrong. We have it figured out.
You haven't figured out. And the fall, though, the women bees make all the guys leave to their death. So in the fall,
Maybe we don't have it figured out.
You feel sorry for the bees, yeah. You want to taste it?
Yeah.
All right.
That's the honey right
Yeah,
there.
just dip your finger. The bees will leave you alone.
You sure about that?
Uh-huh.
All right. Now I got to get underneath here.
You have a little bit of wax.
Okay.
Good, that's okay.
Oh, that is delicious. It really is.
It doesn't get any better than that.
No, and they have that kind of like the wax with it and everything.
You know, when you dip your finger into that honey, that
Yeah.
raw honey for the first time, it's a neat experience thinking about not only that these are producing something so pure that you can eat that never goes bad,
Right.
but also all the good they're doing for the environment around us. So it's important to spread the word, you know, to get the more people, you know, I think what's going to be the key is having a whole lot of backyard beekeepers.
Right.
A lot of people with just 1 or 2 hives in their yard and their personal gardens. You know, there's only so much you can do with big commercial beekeepers, but the more people we can get just to have a hive in their backyard, it's going to make a big difference.
Well, I survived.
Bravo!
Made it back.
Yeah, you did a good job. You're brave.
Yeah, well, that was such an incredible experience. We're gonna start with something very simple. Honey's some of the oldest food product out there, and cheese is right along with it. And the combination of cheese and honey is just incredible. And
I
it's so
love it.
simple, right? There's not much to do except put it together. So we're actually, right here, we have a little bit of your honeycomb, and we have an aged cheese here. And with honey, when you get those aged cheese, that's what you really want. So like a highly processed young cheese is not going to give you the same kind of flavor profile as getting a quality aged cheese.
Okay, so aged cheese goes best with honey.
Yes.
I'll tell people that.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. We're going to add your honey to it.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me if you can eat the honeycomb, and you can eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's all edible. That's fabulous.
Isn't that? Mm-hmm. I mean, and look how simple it is. What did you have to do? You went, you purchased cheese, you purchased honey, and you put it on the board.
I want some more.
Okay, we're gonna go with cheese,
Yeah.
some honey, but before you do that, this wants to stay.
You can,
I'm gonna use a little cracked black pepper.
ready? Mm-hmm. I've never had it like this. How did you come up with that? That's so good.
I wish I could say that was all my idea, but this is just stuff that goes back time and time. And
I will
time.
always do that from now on.
Yeah. So when you're having a nice spread for a party, you know, sometimes people think, like, I got to put a lot of stuff out. Sometimes if you just put the little basics out, the simples, it's so impactful, and that's all you have to do.
And look how fancy that is.
Looks
That's nice.
Beautiful. We're gonna cook to create an ingredient for later. It's called hot honey. So this is very simple to start. Honestly, this is the easy process. All you wanna do is just open up your peppers. I like to do stem, seed, pepper, all when I'm doing this, because it's not something you're going to necessarily eat. What we're doing is we're gonna warm this in the honey, and we're gonna extract the spiciness out of the peppers. So it's very simple. We're gonna use your honey, and we're gonna do a blend, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So we have early spring, late fall, That just goes into the pan. Chilies go in. And you just think of this as making tea. Now with this amount of honey and that amount of pepper, this would be a very spicy.
How do you know how to measure?
How to measure, it's really up to personal taste, experimenting with the different peppers, different honeys, the amounts of each, till you find out what you want. And you're just gonna cook this on a very low temperature for about an hour to extract all that capsaicin into the honey, which is what makes the honey hot. So we made hot honey, and now we're gonna have to make something to put hot honey on. New York and Brooklyn, there's this new trend happening, and I happen to love it. They kind of stole the hot honey out of the South and said, we're not putting it on chicken, we're putting it on pizza. Because it's New York, right? So everything goes on pizza.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, so in New York, it's a big thing going on, and I have a feeling we're gonna start seeing that kind of out. So we're gonna kind of be ahead of the curve right now.
Okay, I love it.
We're gonna make some pizza.
Okay.
Okay, so the magic of television. And
It smells so good.
The pizza's done.
I know.
Let's just take the hot honey and drizzle it over top of the pizza.
My mouth is actually watering right now.
Ready?
Salute.
Oh, wow.
Good?
That honey is fabulous on there.
Now, I wanted to bring you recipes that showcase honey that's not a dessert, that's not sweet, that's not, you know, and show people that you can utilize honey with your savory dishes. So we have a steak tip recipe today that we're gonna do, and it involves honey and it involves bourbon.
Okay.
So, and steak. I mean, that's
pretty-
it's
sounds
pretty
good.
right? So this marinade for the steak tips is very simple. It's obviously, I use the hot honey,
Okay.
bourbon, soy sauce, brown sugar, and some garlic. I'm gonna throw the marinade for the steak together, and I'm very interested also in this whole extraction of honey process.
Okay.
Could you kind of tell me what
Yeah.
that's all about?
So extracting the honey is a long, hard process. We go to the hives and take the smaller boxes that are on top, called the supers. We take those, and so we have to try to keep the bees as calm as possible, and they're okay. You know, we keep them safe, but we do want to take those boxes off. We bring them back here. We have a big machine that's called an extractor, and we put the individual frames down in the extractor and then plug it in. It spins around and spins around, and the centrifugal force makes all the honey come out. So we lightly strain it just once,
And that's all it is. Then we just bottle it.
Okay.
Everything that we bottle is raw.
You know what's really interesting to me is that here's an animal that literally produces its own food source. You know, an insect, an
I always say
animal. It's like-
my pets make me dessert every
Right.
day. That's,
Yeah.
you know, no other pet will do that for you.
It's incredible, like that they have learned to do that. Like you'd think human beings are the only ones that know how to do that, but bees have been doing it far longer than we have.
Smart bees.
So you cut your steaks up into cubes and marinate them in that marinade for an hour at least. You could do it overnight. I went overnight with it just to get a really nice marinade on it. Okay.
Okay.
You want your pan heated before you put your oil in. Okay. A little bit of oil. And then you're gonna take your steak pieces. So a lot of home cooks think that what you see at the bottom of this pan is burnt and you wanna get rid of it. But you're gonna see later when we add the next element to this dish, which is mushrooms, we're gonna use that to flavor the mushrooms. We're gonna cook the mushrooms in that. And what it is the caramelization of the sugars. So in this case, the honey, but also just the natural sugars in the food. And that all just makes stuff taste good. So we have a fancy mushroom here.
I've never seen that mushroom before.
It looks like a very...
Looks like it, yeah, right, lupa.
Yeah, so it's called a Pom Pom mushroom, and quite honestly, the reason I'm utilizing it, Michelle, is we're doing a TV show, and it looks fancy, right?
It is a fancy mushroom.
That's why I'm utilizing it. For this recipe, you can use any mushroom you want. I'm gonna cook it separately from everything, but we're not cleaning the pan out. If you clean the pan out, you waste all of that.
And that's all
goodness.
flavor.
That's all flavor. That's all the marinade, that's all the caramelized onions. You just want to get these, and you're cooking these separately because they cook at separate times, right? So if you put the mushrooms in too early, then you're going to overcook your mushrooms. And for me, that's done.
All right.
So we'll just add that to the steak tips. The timeless thing is just always adding some green
Okay.
to brighten up the dish. Jump in here and
Should
try
we
this
allow
out.
Jim? Jim's
Yeah.
done all the work with the honey,
He
right?
did.
So
He did.
He's
did.
Jim, come on. That is delicious.
You like that? Love it.
That sweetness of the honey and the brown sugar.
Right.
Oh, wow. Will you come back tomorrow and cook for us?
Sure. Absolutely.
We can go to the hives and get you some more honey.
All right.
Wow, that's good.
As a chef, I always look forward to find out where our food comes from. I did have a great time with Michelle, and I'll tell you what, I think my day is ending and her day is just starting.